This is a podcast by The Straits Times.
Hello and welcome to Pop Vultures, a pop culture podcast by The Straits Times. My name is Jen Lee, and today is the first time we are recording in the new year 2022, and I am joined by a very, very special guest, and she is our podcast producer, Penelope.
Hi, everyone.
Yes, Penelope, she is our podcast intern originally, but then she became like a temp staff, and then she just like started producing our podcast on a regular basis and has been doing so for over a year.
Yep.
And she will be going off to university soon. Penelope will miss you.
Yeah, I'll miss you guys too, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so today what are we talking about? Today, Penelope and I are talking about something that is I think we both have a lot of feelings for, because both
Yeah.
Penelope and I are fangirls. Like, we are long-time hardcore fangirls, right? Penelope, tell me about your fandom. Which fandoms were you in?
Oh man, I was like in a lot. Okay, I think the first one that was like significant and probably you guys remember me for because I appeared in the podcast for this was One Direction.
Yeah. You had like contributed a voice.
Yeah. I was just like suddenly appeared out of nowhere. But yeah, I was first a directional, as they would call it back in the day, and then I moved on to K-pop after that. So it was like a very large mishmash of different things. I was multi-fandom for a long time as well.
So in K-pop, who are your fandoms? Like, which are your fandoms?
I started with EXO and then like Infinite, all like the older boy bands. Yeah.
EXO is not older to me, lor. EXO is not. Don't say that. Okay. Continue.
Jen filling the generation gap.
Yeah,
but,
man.
Yeah, but now I'm mostly just like ARMY from like BTS. I was a fan of them since like 2014, so 15.
Like very early on.
Yeah, very early. So yeah, I am an ARMY for a very long time. Yeah.
Okay. So today we're talking about idols dating, basically. And as y'all know, Penelope and I don't really cross fandoms, but I think we can both bring something to the table, because like the J-pop stuff and the K-pop stuff are both very, I think like in Japan and South Korea in particular, the idol dating culture is like generally frowned upon. Like idols are not supposed to date. And so, like, you know, since it's the new year, and usually, right, on the first day of the new year, the South Korean tabloid Dispatch will break the news of a very big celeb couple romance. So we got, I think we got Hyunbin and Son Ye-jin from this before. We got Jennie and Kai. We got Rain and Kim Tae-hee, who are married. We got Lee Sung-gi and Yoona, apparently also are from the Dispatch New Year couple. So, you know, it's a big thing. This year, I think it was Tiara's Hyomin with like some soccer star. So congrats to them, right, for finding each other. But today we're really talking about, you know, using this as a jumping off point to talk about like the whole culture of idols as a concept, and why like Dispatch actually does this thing of like breaking a big news of a celeb romance is because like idols and celebrities, particularly I think in South Korea, and particularly idols, are not supposed to be dating. So it's always like a big news when they are revealed to be dating. So yeah. Okay, so let's get into it. I think firstly about idol culture, right? I think it's, as I said, like, it's understood that idols are not supposed to be dating publicly. And in fact, I think in some places, like Japanese, the girl group AKB48, right? I think you are actually banned from dating. And I'm pretty sure that there are some South Korean management companies, right, that also have like specific no dating clauses in their contracts, especially early in the idol's career. So when they're younger and just debuting, that's when I think it sort of happens. The fandom that I'm in, which is Johnny's, technically doesn't have a non-dating clause, but they're just not supposed to be caught. Like, you can date, just don't get caught. Like, you're just not supposed to publicly date. You can date, but don't tell anybody that you are dating, and don't get pepped, that kind, you know. It's frowned upon if they get pepped, but they usually don't get kicked out or anything lah. So on this concept, right? Okay, Penelope, why don't you think idols are allowed to date publicly?
Okay, so first of all, I think that contract wise, most of them are because like there's this thing, right, where when you just debut for maybe like the first 5 years or so, like I know JYP is first 5 years after debut that you should not date because they want you to
JYP has this as an explicit rule, right? If I'm not
I
wrong.
think so, yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
yeah. So they are not allowed to date for 5 years because they want them to focus on their career for like the first 5 years. I mean, after all, you've worked so hard as a trainee and everything,
You don't want to
right?
get distracted
Yeah,
by
yeah,
like
yeah.
love and romance problems. You don't want to
Yeah.
like break up, feel sad, then like cannot perform on like Music Bank or something.
Exactly. And actually, they go like an extra mile to like kind of ensure that you don't get distracted by confiscating members' phones for like until they win an award. Some of them.
That is so insane.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. It's crazy. It's very crazy. And like imagine that you have to ask permission from the company to contact your parents. That's
Yeah.
so bad. Like, you're being isolated from the rest of the world.
I also heard that in YG, like some of the YG boy groups have said that they don't bump into the girl groups at all. Like I think like the company makes a concerted effort to like keep them away from each other.
Like separate basements, as they say.
Yeah, like and then I also heard like there were also all these stories. I think like Super Junior way back when they were like going on like programs, and they said like when you look at like the backstage of like music programs, right, there are like ways the idols try and like get in contact with each other. Like they buy a sandwich, they put their number inside the sandwich or something.
Correct.
Then like sneak it to the female idols that they like, that kind. So like it's very, you can tell like how much like companies try not to let them date, but as Chinese saying goes, 上有政策,下有对策. It's like whatever policies you have, people have ways to get around it.
There's always loopholes, man.
Yeah. So and another thing, as you were talking about, like aside from focusing on their careers, I think we both agree that there's this whole idea that idols are somewhat being marketed as romantic/sexual symbols to their fans. So they have to like be seen as available to fans. Which is, I think, a very quintessentially Asian thing, because like in, you know, like I think in like North American music markets, there are also like so-called teen idols, right? Like One Direction. Justin Bieber, I think when he came out, was considered a teen idol. So, but they also date, and they date publicly somewhat. They are not like, you know, like even I would argue that Taylor Swift, when she came out, was considered teenage idol, right? And she also dated very publicly. All her songs are about like her freaking boyfriends. Hello, all too well. Like, you know.
True.
So it's very quintessentially Asian, even though there are also irrational fans who cannot stand the idea of like One Direction dating. There are also fans who, I mean, freaking like Kristen Stewart and like Robert Pattinson also receive a lot of like similar things when they were acting in Twilight. So there are irrational fans all around, but it's a very quintessentially Asian thing to actually service that fantasy of fans and to be seen as available and to have to maintain that image and consider as part of your job as an idol. Yeah. So, and even like I think in cases when the romances become public, it's not usually of their own volition.
Yeah, that's like really bad, like in my opinion, because like, and I think that Korean media also like really feeds onto this and like amplifies it even more. Like, can you imagine that your personal life has just been like dished out to the entire net without like, and you find out together with the rest of the world? Like, wow.
Yes. And it's like they really go to quite extreme lengths to catch these people like meeting each other, and they already try very hard to be careful, like because they won't be seen together. Like sometimes it's not that they caught the idols in one picture, sometimes it's they caught the idol going to like the condo.
Oh yes.
Or like the car, or like I think the one with GD was GD's manager picked somebody up in his car and drove to GD's house or something like that. Like, so it's like, you know, there are a lot of ways that they catch them. So even when the romances become public, it's usually not because they announced it, and it's usually because like they got caught or something happened, like somebody got pregnant, then they're like, okay, we're getting married. So they have to announce, right? Because they're getting married. Which recently happened, by the way.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, even when it becomes public, they tend to keep a very low profile. Yeah. So because and I think this is also very weird because they don't want to be seen as flaunting the relationship.
I mean, they've already gotten enough hate, man. Just like having that, being like existing, you know, it's already like, oh my gosh.
Romance existing is already bad enough.
Yeah, and like the amount of hate and like even goes as far as like death threats, like to each of them. Like this is like a bit out of place, but like I mean, we mentioned this previously, like when Taehyung accidentally followed Jennie, and then like suddenly it's just following, you
BTS's
know.
V
Yeah.
accidentally followed Blackpink's Jennie.
Yeah.
Got a lot of hate on both sides. People are like, are they dating? And then people are like, oh my god, V is harassing Jennie. And then people are like, oh my god, Jennie's trying to seduce V. What's going on? You know, like people went insane. Like,
Yeah, it was crazy, and it honestly is so. It's very, very concerning, honestly.
yeah, it is very concerning. Which I think it's a great segue into what I also wanted to talk about, which is like the consequences of what happens when they do get discovered to be dating, especially like, you know, I would say like maybe at the peak of their popularity or when they're still very active as idols. And you know, just to put in a like caveat here, idols are different from say like actors or singers.
Yeah.
Especially in entertainment industries like South Korea and Japan, there's a very, very clear line. Like idols are specifically a different type of, as I said, celebrities are all products. So a different type of product from actors and singers. So people like actors like say, you know, give me an actor, give me a South Korean actor.
Park Seo-joon?
Yeah, say Park Seo-joon, okay? Even if he's very, very popular,
Yeah.
Park Seo-joon being discovered to be dating will not receive as much backlash as BTS's V.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes,
for sure.
even though they are good friends.
Yes, yes,
They are good
exactly.
friends. Yes. So like it will not receive the same amount of backlash or attention because V is ultimately selling a different image of himself from Park Seo-joon. So as an idol, there is a different like expectation on you. Like you are supposed to be seen as available to your fans in that sense.
Yeah.
Like a singer like say R&B singer Zion T is probably less likely to get hate for dating than anyone from an idol group. Say
Yeah.
like from EXO, from I don't know, GOT7, you know, it's just less, there's just less expectations.
Yeah. And even IU, you know, like she might be like an idol to some people, but she has been dating and publicly, like maybe not publicly, but like
somewhat
openly.
somewhat openly.
Yeah.
IU has had several relationships. I think at least one that I know of that she admitted to.
Yeah.
So yeah, even though IU also is very similar to an idol in the way that she is marketed.
Yeah.
But because she is not part of a girl group, she is seen as I'm sorry to say this, but she's seen as a more serious singer, like a serious singer-songwriter. She is given less, like, I think the expectations on her is a bit different.
Yeah.
It has also changed as she aged. I think when she was younger, it was really, she was seen as very pure and people wanted to protect her.
Yeah.
Like Nation's little sister.
Yes,
so
yes.
that image, she very intentionally, we can do another whole episode on IU. She very intentionally tried to shed that image as she grew older in her songwriting and everything. So I think that has changed as she matured in her career.
Yeah, but you know, based on like just back to that is that like as a whole, like she doesn't get as much hate and she's seen as her own person. Like not like as or you know, even with this is another thing about like dating that like for some reason, right, if you as one person dates, right, your entire group is implicated.
Yes. Like everybody, it just hurts everyone. Like it's very intense. Yeah, which, you know, again, let's segue into consequences when people do get found out to be dating. So as we mentioned, like the death threats, attacks, right, hate, backlash on both the idols and their partners is not as bad if your partner is not from the entertainment industry. But a lot of the times, right, these idols date within the entertainment industry because who are they meeting? You know, like who are they meeting?
Correct.
So it's like, I mean, off the top of my head, I can think of things like EXO's Baekhyun and Taeyeon, Girls' Gen's Taeyeon, both got a lot of hate when they started dating and were found out. And then Jennie and Kai, the Dispatch couple, so much hate. And Jennie and Kai at that time were both like very popular, and they were both pretty young. Jennie apparently has moved on to dating GD, but yes, but that one is like not super, like don't know whether real or not. Not super like, you know, solid. And then as we mentioned, IU and Eunhyuk. So this like takes me way back. So a long time ago in K-pop, when IU was, I think this was before IU was 20, or maybe she was very early 20s, like very young, and IU is like 29 now, so this is like a long time ago. like IU accidentally posted a picture of herself with Eunhyuk, Super Junior's Eunhyuk,
Yeah.
and it was like kind of a suggestive photo because they were pressed up against each other.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah.
They both looked kind of sweaty. IU was in pajamas and Eunhyuk was topless. So everybody was like, wait, what? It like the screenshot went around the internet immediately. Like she took it down very fast, but it was too late and everybody saw and everybody was like, Eunhyuk is dating IU. And that time, like I think Eunhyuk got a lot of hate because
Oh dear.
I think he's actually about 7 years older than IU. So like some people actually found the age gap a bit concerning, and some people actually found that because IU at the time was very young, so I guess like people were like, oh my god, is Eunhyuk trying to like get into like, you know, this trying to like slide into the DMs of this young woman, you know?
Yeah, okay.
And IU also got quite a bit of hate for that from Eunhyuk's fans because they feel like she purposely posted the photo to out him because she did accidentally post the photo.
Yeah.
So it was like a whole big thing like, oh, are you planning to take him down or something? So just very awkward, you know? And I think even like years after the fact, occasionally Eunhyuk still gets teased about it. And you can tell he's not very comfortable.
Ah, yikes.
Yeah, so, you know, it causes like hoo-has lah, right? So aside from that, I think one example I can think of in my J-pop sphere is when Kimura Takuya of SMAP got married. So Kimura Takuya, very, 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 very popular in the 90s. Like, I cannot enunciate how popular he is. Like, I cannot tell you, Penelope, exactly how much of a sensation he was. Like, he's genuinely an Asian sensation in the 90s. Like, everybody loved him. And then he got shotgun married to this other singer / idol, Kudo Shizuka. Yeah, he got shotgun married at like 28. So at the peak of like his popularity, he was starring in all these like dramas that your mom would have heard of, like Love Generation and Long Vacation. You know, this like 90s drama. So he very popular, got married. And I remember I saw a clip of the interview that he did when he got married. Someone was like, "Are you marrying Kudo Shizuka?" And he was like, yeah, who else? Like, I loved it. He was like, yes. And he was just very, I think he was very popular. So in part, right, he was very like, I am doing this. And you know what? I am just doing this. Like, I think he was popular enough to that point, right, that he couldn't be punished. Because he was so popular that he was like, he had that level of power to say, my wife is pregnant and we are getting married and nobody can stop me from doing that. Yeah, so it was a big hoo-ha and he still continued to stay in his agency because usually when this kind of things happen, like they might get like refrigerated or something might happen, you know, like there's some level of punishment, but no. And actually his fans, like some of his fans tried taking their own lives.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was really bad. And for years after that, Kudo Shizuka, his wife, topped the list of most hated female Japanese celebs.
Oh my goodness. That is crazy.
Firstly, the fact that there's this list is weird. But Japanese people love lists, alright? Let's just put it that way. They really love lists. Like, having lived in Japan for 3 years, I can tell you there's a list for everything in Japan. Okay. Yeah, and as we said, I think the consequences also vary according to like how mature the group is.
Yes.
Like the younger the group is, you know, the more likely the backlash is harsh lah. And also very popular groups.
Yes.
Just by nature of the fact that they have more fans.
Yeah.
That is more chaotic. But like Super Junior at this point, right? It's like the fans are begging the idols to
just
date.
go, man. Like, just please get married already.
The fans are like, somebody please come and take care of my oppa. Like, seriously. Because sometimes you look at their lives and you're like, Lee-tuk, Lee-tuk, you should get a life. Like, sometimes you're just like looking at Lee-tuk do his Instagram videos and everything. You're just like, I wish somebody would just come and take care of Lee-tuk. Like,
I think that was the same thing for Heechul, like back when like he and Momo were dating, right? The thing is, I feel like they were one of the more like accepted couples despite that they still both got hate. But like because I think first of all Heechul is already like has been in the industry for so long.
Yeah, Heechul of Suju, yes.
Yeah.
And he has a generally quite good rap.
Yes.
Yeah. As like a very people call him I don't know whether this is appropriate for the podcast, but people call him Kim Condom.
Oh
Because
yes,
they say he's very safe. They say like female idols can hang out with him
yeah.
without getting hit on. He's that safe. So they call him Kim Condom.
Yeah.
It's very funny. But so like he has a good rep as like a dude who's not creepy.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, but I think there was still some hate lah because Momo and him do have quite a big
Huge,
age gap.
yeah.
Yeah.
quite
Momo
big.
of Twice, Hitro of Suju.
Yeah.
You know, so they ended up breaking up lah
Yeah,
after a
sadly.
while. Yeah.
Mm.
So, you know, but yeah, I think people reacted quite well to that because they wanted, I think people were like excited to see Hichu happy.
Mm.
Yeah, like they have been invested in him over all the years, right? All the drama that Suju has gone through, and Suju has gone through a lot of drama.
Yes, yes.
All the drama that Suju has gone through, and like he hosts a lot of programs, and he talks about like being lonely because he like doesn't have
yeah.
girlfriends and that kind of thing. And then you actually see him get a girlfriend. It's like quite nice to see. Yeah. But there are also some cases that are really, really, really bad. So here we go into the case studies. And okay, this one I don't think you know about. So I'm just going to tell you about it and then you're just going to be shocked.
Okay.
But this is really bad. Like this was a case that I saw, even at that time, I thought it was insane. So basically there's a Japanese girl group called AKB48.
Oh yes, I've heard
And they're
them.
very popular, right? They're a huge group. Like there's so many members, I don't know. So I think she is one of the original AKB48 members. She's called Minami Mineshige. Yeah, a bit complicated, a mouthful, but Minami Mineshige. And she was caught, I think a tabloid or something, published photos of her leaving her then boyfriend's home. I think she was 20 at that time.
Mm.
And in response, she shaved her head.
Oh my gosh.
So she shaved all her hair, her glorious hair, and posted a video of herself tearfully apologizing,
Oh my gosh.
saying she doesn't want to leave the group because the group's cardinal rule is no dating. So apparently she was actually demoted to like trainee level or something because she was caught dating. Yeah, that's how bad it is. And even at that time, like to, I think society's credit at that time, there were already voices that were like, this is inhumane. Like you
Yeah.
cannot make, because like shaving your head is it's like sort of a very traditional act of contrition. So like how people were just like, she's not a war criminal. What? Like
Yeah,
she
yeah.
didn't kill somebody. Like why are you?
It's quite extreme.
Yeah, it's so extreme. Like why are you making her do this act of like humiliating act of like contrition, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just really upsetting.
For something as normal as dating too, like what?
And she's 20.
Yeah.
Like, people date at 20. Like, that's not, uncommon.
Yeah.
And I think this one we also talked about. I think some things go from bad to pretty good. So, like, the Minami Mineshige case was just bad. Like, it was just, like, insane and inhumane. And then the one that was bad but okay, I think we both know this, which is Hyuna and Dawn.
yes.
Yes, Hyuna and Dawn very sweet now, but I think
Goals.
when goals, right, truly couple goals, it's so
Yeah.
sweet. So when it came out, so Hyuna is she actually was from, I think she originally, right, was from Wonder Girls.
Is it?
Yeah, that's how far back Hyuna goes. She really debuted super young,
What?
I think. Yeah, then she was 4 Minute. Then she sort of strike out as her own solo idol, right? And Hyuna at that point when her romance with Dawn got outed, she had already very popular at that point.
Yes, very popular.
Yeah, she had done like her
Candy
bubble pop.
Oh yeah, sorry, bubble pop. What the heck?
What do you say?
Candy pop. Sorry, bubble pop. Yes.
No, she has a lot of food-based songs.
Yeah.
So bubble pop, then like ice cream is it?
Ah,
Is it also her
yes,
song?
yes.
Yeah. Then at that time she was in the same company with Dawn, who was from Pentagon, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Wow, this group, Pentagon also a group that I don't know where they are now. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, Dawn was in Pentagon. Hyuna was a solo idol. They were in the same agency. And they had like a sort of like a, was there a Triple H unit? Hyuna formed a small unit with 2 members of Pentagon, one of whom was Dawn.
Oh yes, I think so. Yes.
Yes, one of whom was Dawn. Then I think when they were working together, like maybe like, like feelings just sort of developed over time and they started dating. Then when they got outed, they admitted to dating. So both
Yeah.
Hyuna and Dawn admitted to dating, but they did not ask the agency if they could admit it.
Oh.
I think so, or something like that lah. And Hyuna was I remember it being a very earnest like apology of sorts. She actually did apologize,
Okay.
and I think she just said like, I don't want to lie to my fans, like I
Yeah.
am dating him. And at that time they had already been dating for 2 years. Like
Yeah.
it was like a legit like serious relationship. But even so, they got kicked out of the agency. Right? The agency cut ties with both of them, like ended their contracts. And it was really sad, like I think especially for Dawn, because he was just like starting out as an
Yeah.
idol. He just
Yes,
debuted
yes.
not long ago. And Hyuna at that point was already very established, but yeah, it was kind of tough for Dawn. But they basically like just hightailed it hand in hand. Like they were like, okay, fine. And then they just like joined Psy's agency
Yeah,
together.
right. It's, boss. Like,
Yeah,
I
they
feel
just
like-
joined P Nation together, and then they were like, yes, from now on we are just publicly in love.
Yes, it's so okay. I feel like that was such a boss move, you know. There's like, okay, you know what? Screw it. Since you want to be like this, I'll just leave then.
Exactly. And they are so happily in love. Like they go
Yes.
on programs together, they make songs together.
Oh, so
And
cute.
yeah, even though there are still hate comments, I'm sure. Like
Mm.
I'm sure both of them. I think actually more for Dawn, because people see
Yeah.
him as not being as famous as Hyuna. So people see him like as like cashing in on Hyuna in a way.
For
even though
clout.
it's very clear to me that Dawn truly is
Yes.
in love with her. Like, if you watch them together, it's so obvious that he treats her super, super well.
Mm.
And, like, she genuinely is very touched by how much, like, he loves her. Like,
Yeah.
it's very sweet to
Yeah,
see.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
of course, we don't know the specifics of their relationship, but it is very, like, from what I can see, it's very sincere, their
Yeah.
relationship. And they have been together for years now, like maybe
Yeah.
5-6 years at this point. So super sweet. And also, yeah, I mean, they look great together. Like they
They do.
right? They just have such a style. I mean, like the fashion is not to everybody's taste, but it's a style, and
Yeah.
they just like both indulge in it together.
Yeah, he's so cute. And like honestly, it wouldn't make sense for people to be like, oh, he's just using her for clout, because he essentially gave up his career for her, you know.
Yeah, he gave up his boy band career, like, basically.
Yeah.
He's like, he does solo activities now.
Mm.
And actually, I think this also brings us back to our point that it also helps that because Hyuna had enough power at that time,
Mm.
Hyuna was famous and established enough to say, I will leave this agency and I will join, and there will be another agency lined up. There will be another
Yeah.
agency be like, yeah, sure, let's grab Hyuna, you know, because she is so popular, she was so established, and she had that power to say, if you don't want to accept me and my boyfriend, then I'm
Mm.
just not here for this anymore,
Yeah.
you know? Also, Kimura and Kudo Shizuka stayed married, have 2 very, very, very beautiful daughters who are both
Aw.
models in the entertainment industry.
Whoa.
That's how old their daughters are. Yeah, they got married like 22 years ago. Maybe I think it was like 2000 or something. So the daughters once said in a live stream that they will marry someone. They were like fall in love and marry somebody who's more handsome than their dad. They want to fall in love and marry somebody who's more handsome than that. And like everybody in the comment section was like, girls, you just eliminated like 98% of the population. Like, that's hard. Yeah. And then, you know, as we mentioned, like some things like Hichu and Momo,
Mm.
I think was like fairly accepted, but it didn't work out. Lee Seung-gi and Yuna was also
Yes.
quite accepted, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
didn't work out. And I think that has something to do with Lee Seung-gi's very, very healthy image.
Mm.
Yeah, right. Like both him and Yuna at that time were sort of seen as very healthy, like good kids. Lee Seung-gi in
Yeah.
particular, because he went to a good uni.
Yes.
Then he like had a lot of talents, you know.
Yeah.
And also, again, Lee Seung-gi is not an idol.
Yeah.
So a bit more accepted. And some things are just good, which is Taeyang and his wife Min Hyo-rin.
Yes. They are really cute, you know. And you know the very famous Eyes, Nose, Lip song?
It's written for her.
so cute.
I was freaking the MV, right? The back, right? The MV and the MV is super dramatic, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like this piano led. So Taeyang of Big Bang, okay. So he had this song called Eyes, Nose, Lips, which was like dominated the charts in like, was it 2014? Like just it was just a song
Everywhere.
that was everywhere in like the mid 2010s. And like the MV was super dramatic. It features, of course, Taeyang topless. Taeyang is topless. Do you agree, Penelope?
I mean, he is.
he is topless in everything. Do you agree?
Oh yes.
he really is. Taeyang loves being topless. Okay, like do you remember that performance of Good Boy they did at Mama?
Oh yeah, my God,
Yes.
yeah.
Taeyang was also randomly just topless. Taeyang is topless all the time. Okay. Anyway, so like he made this song called Eyes Nose Lips, and I think this was before their relationship went public. And like the song was like all about like your eyes, your nose, your lips. I miss you. Like come back to me. And then like the MV at the end, like something like burns, right? Some picture it burns in the background, and it's like Min Hyo-rin's face.
Yeah, it's just like what's going on?
And then it turns out that they were together, they dated, and then in between they broke up, and like Taeyang was really upset, so he wrote Eyes Nose Lips, and then like they got back together. So like I think by the time the song was out, I think they already got back together. Then afterwards, I think the relationship came out or something. So people were just very pleased because again, Taeyang very good image despite Big Bang having a lot of drama and trouble, which we shall not get into. Taeyang has a very, very good image. Taeyang's like a good Christian boy, very like non-scandalous kind of dude. And you know, Min Hyo-rin also like pretty actress, you know, and it did seem very sweet lah, the romance and like the whole Eyes Nose and the fact that we got like a legendary ballad out of this romance. So yeah. Alright, so I think that's like, you know, the case studies and everything. So what are some like final thoughts you have, Penelope?
I just want to say that like as a whole, like my stand is that we should let idols date if this wasn't clear already. Like because as fans, right, if you really respect your idols as people, like you would let them do something as like normal and it's actually a human right to date whoever you want to.
Yeah.
Because like at the end of the day, like yes, they might be products for your entertainment, but that's all it is. It's for your entertainment. They don't know you and they probably won't ever know you.
Yeah, and you don't own them as people, right? Yeah. It's just like, as we said, like, you know, I've said this many times, and like, you know, you can write in if you disagree or anything, but yeah, to me, like, celebrities are all products, right? They're all selling you something. They are all like products for you to consume, right? But for me, right, idols are products insofar as their work, right?
Yeah.
So like, you can own a song, you know, the idol has written. You can own a performance if you like bought the DVD or something. Of course, you own the performance, but like you don't own them as people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I just feel like they should just, and it's like actually I think, and this links back to what we were talking about in Wang Leehom's episode. Like the whole like the image is never going to be real.
Yes.
Like the image will never be true to them. So sometimes I feel like it's just better if you just let them be able to be themselves more.
Correct.
Yeah, and that includes like dating and talking about their dating lives. And if we just like destigmatize that and be like, yeah, this is normal, you know, I think it will actually make for a more healthy entertainment environment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, of course, there are always going to be people who like are bad boyfriends and bad girlfriends, but you know, that feels like everybody in the world. Like that just feels like being that just feels like if you're in the world that will happen, and we'll deal with that when it comes. But I feel like just that it's 2022, man. Let celebrities date.
Yeah, and I also think that it's very important to like keep the art away from the artist. Like it is very difficult because you have to support like the artist if you're supporting the art, but you can like someone's songs but not like the person. Like I feel that very strongly.
You can.
Yeah.
And I feel like it only really matters when to not support the art when the artist is like a criminal.
Oh yeah, of course. That's like out of the question.
Yeah, then that's a different thing. But like, if you don't like who they're dating or what, like just
support them as a fan. Like that's all.
Yeah, like it's really bad. Like I mean, my own personal fandom has gone through this several times because like 3 of the Arashi members are married now. 2 of them got married to non-celebrity women. 1 of them got married to someone who is no longer in entertainment, but she was in entertainment. And people hated her because like apparently she like had a blog post. She kept a blog where she like posted things that seemingly hinted at the dude being her boyfriend, like the Arashi dude being her boyfriend. Like she would wear a shirt that like, you know, maybe somebody gave the Arashi dude, and then she would have like Arashi products secretly lying in the background, and people would call her Niyowase onna. Niyowase means like it's a very specific Japanese term. It's like you try and like let people see, like you know, like you like a bit like try and accidentally reveal that you got like boyfriend.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
just like a bit show offy. And I'm like, you know what? She's dating an Arashi dude. I would show off.
Yeah,
Like,
that's yeah, for sure.
just let it go, man. And you know what? He's married with a kid and they have a daughter, and I'm very glad for them. And I'm also very glad that all of them married women their age. So
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
yeah, I think one of their like senior groups had like a 50-year-old dude marry a 24-year-old, and I was like very grossed out.
Oh,
so
no.
well, yep. All right, that's about it for today, right, Penelope?
Yep.
Okay, thank you everybody for listening. And if you have any thoughts and any ideas on what we should talk about, you can come find me at podcast@sph.com.sg, or find me at jenly@sph.com.sg, or slide into my DMs at jenlyrise. By the way, if you email podcast@sph.com.sg, you will also get Penelope.
Yes, you will.
Yes, because she's our producer, and now Penelope has to, end this podcast and then like edit it and cut it. So thank you, Penelope. Everybody, please thank Penelope for her efforts, because like, sometimes I record like a podcast that's like 50 minutes long, and then she has to cut it to like 30. So I really do not envy her job. Yeah, and everybody wish Penelope good luck in college. She's going to Korea.
Yes, I am.
Yay. Okay, now thank you everybody for listening. This was Pop Vouchers. Bye-bye.
That was a podcast by The Straits Times. Send your feedback to podcast@sph.com.sg. Find us on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or via the Google Voice Assistant and Amazon Alexa-enabled devices. For more podcasts by The Straits Times, The Business Times, and Money FM 89.3, you can also download the Audio by SPH app. That's AWEDIO.